back to another episode of Dave and Jay's Powerbomb. This is June 17th, 2020. We're talking about tonight's episode of Dynamite, and we had a huge match right at the beginning. We had Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega, our tag team champions, and they were going up against the Natural Nightmares of QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes, a hero of yours. They came out with Brandi Rhodes, and they didn't come out with QT Marshall's new girlfriend, Allie.
No, and that's okay, because I kind of personally find her totally obnoxious, but Dave over there, he was like, I like to shoot pornography with her.
She looks like a great pornographic actress, and that was a pretty...
How degrading, Dave.
Whatever, it is wrestling, and and this was a good match. It went back and forth, right? I mean, we got a Canadian destroyer from Dustin there, which was awesome. On one of the boys. And then about halfway through the match, Allie was like, no, like, I'm coming out, because they were saying that Dustin Rhodes forbid Allie's presence at ringside because she's too much of a distraction for QT. But QT was doing a lot of the heavy lifting tonight, so she came out to support her man. Well,
that's because Dustin was doing that little over the head move with it. Was it Hangman or Kenny? They clashed heads and then took a knee.
That's right.
And it kind of put Dustin out of commission for, about a good 5 minutes of the match. He was over there on his knee, had the ref come on in and check it out. And he's like, oh, okay. And then QT's like, oh, shit, this is my show.
Yeah, Dustin shouldn't be trying to come between QT and his woman like that. And it was a good match. At the end, QT couldn't do all the heavy lifting alone, and he got nailed with that tandem V-trigger, buckshot lariat, and there's no getting up from that.
Nope. So, 1, 2, 3, it was over.
Yeah, and that was the end of that, and then Allie came and checked on them, and like Brandi and Dustin are still giving her lots of attitude because, I don't know, nepotism.
She doesn't belong in the Rhodes family. She doesn't belong with the Nightmare family.
We'll see.
No, not happening.
And then we have a favorite of Jay's, Anna Jay. And she was looking to make an impact tonight in her debut Dynamite match until she met her opponent, Abadon.
Wow, that was, there's all this hype about it and all that stuff. There was a bug to find in front of me there.
This is not a green screen behind us, by the way. There's some talk of that in recent weeks. We are in a parking lot.
But anyways, there was all this advertisement about Anna Jay and all this all week. And I'm like, yeah, I got a match and all that. And then all of a sudden, it turns out you're having a little bit of pumpkin pie. And what do you use to make pumpkin pie? Squash.
Yeah, it was a huge squash match. Not the debut Anna Jay or Jay was looking for. Abadon with a spike, hurricanrana with the opponent on her knees, just getting face down the mat.
That was a really cool maneuver.
However,
I must say.
The real action happened after the match when the Dark Order came out to make their presence known with Brodie Lee and the whole gang, number 10, Grayson and Evil Uno, everyone. They're creating an army, and they offered their hand. The Exalted One did, aka Vince from other company, and Anna Jay took it. And they, what did you think of them handing Colt Cabana the contract?
That was pretty cool. It was just a contract just to get in the match for, was it next meet?
Tag match, him and Brodie versus, I forgot who they're facing, but they have a match coming up. And they all walked off together. And then we had a big match, a favorite of ours, MJF versus the Go Suck It guy, Billy Gunn. And Billy had his kids out there with him, but MJF had Wardlow.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is a pretty good match. Billy Gunn, he's still got the moves. I mean, he's still kept us in shape. He's a huge guy. And but then what did they do? Oh yeah, that Dynamite Diamond ring came into effect. Yes, and there was a distraction, and then Billy got clocked, and he's going to be sucking it somewhere else for a bit.
Yeah, then MJF gets to win.
And his kids tried to get involved, and they had to shut that down too. And then after the match, there was some beef between Jurassic Express and MJF and his man Wardlow.
Yeah.
So MJF did beat Jungle Boy at the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. Check out our coverage on that. It's on our video list.
But you gotta wonder, like, MJF, like, has he actually had any legitimate wins without actually cheating?
That's his thing, man. He's mega heel.
He's mega heel, but man,
he's using his brain.
Maybe I should almost do an investigative video about the man who is supposedly better than us.
Well, I mean, he's beating
you don't
people
see us
that
hiring
are
bots
like
to
named
friggin'
Mowgli
get
or
more views.
raised in the jungle. But yeah. So then Les Sex Gods are backstage and they're explaining why they had no choice but to beat down Orange Cassidy last week. And that was a highly rated video
Blood
of ours
is
as well.
Thicker than orange juice.
That's right. He was beaten to a pulp, man. Saw the slow motion footage of him getting bludgeoned by those 20-pound blood orange sacks. It was something else. And so they had to do it. And then Britt Baker, she's out there pretty much throughout the whole show. She's on the Rolls Royce. She's got like a clothesline apparatus set up where she's sending notes back and forth to Tony, who is on her friend. But then she had to put Tony on a friendship timeout. Tony, you're fucking up.
Yeah.
And then we'll get back to what happened to Britt a little later. But then Cody, so Cody, he's issuing open challenges now, which is great. A lot of the greats in the past have done that, from Kurt Angle to John Cena, and so he's doing it, and his behavior is strange. Cody's behavior is strange. Like, is he being genuine when he's talking, or is he kind of mocking people? I can't tell. I
swear to God, AEW is just making fun of other company a lot. You know, Brodie Lee, Vince, stuff like that. It's genius, though. I can't stop watching it.
It's good. We can't stop. And then there is a former NWA television champion by the name of Ricky Stark who stepped up to the plate to answer Cody in his open challenge, which we found out is open to people in AEW as well as outside of AEW.
Yeah, this definitely had to have been the second best match of the night. Originally, I was going to call it the best match of the night, but that ended up happening way later in the evening here.
Yeah, so Ricky Stark, him and Cody put on a great match. He took it to Cody as much as he could.
Yeah, those guys sacrificed tonight. No blood, though. Sacrificed.
Yeah, there was blood, but that's the next match. So then, but I predicted it. I was like, this guy is going to be one Crossroads, and he's out. And it only took one Crossroads this time. Ricky Starks, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thanks
I don't
for being
know
on
what
television.
you're going to be doing. Yeah, you're hanging out with Jeff Cobb somewhere, and I'm sure that other guy, Brian Cage, will be sure to follow. And then what do we have? We got the best tag team in the world versus the Superbad squad, and I think this was the best match of the night.
This was definitely the best match of the night. It was pretty well all-out chaos. Everybody, of course, usually sacrifices, and of course, what would not be a Dave and Jay's Powerbomb little YouTube cover without a little bit of blood, right?
That's right. And Kip Sabian, he took a bunch for the team tonight.
Well, did he ever?
How is he still alive, right?
Like, really?
He has chest busted open. Like, he was taking the beats from the Young Bucks hard. There was one point where one of those Buck guys power bombed Kip Sabian off the top rope to the bottom of the ring, and that was nuts. And they kept going.
Just non-stop double team punishment. Like, that's what the Young Bucks were, just far superior than Kip and the crazy Jimmy Havoc there.
It's crazy because they only have the Young Bucks ranked as the number 5 tag team right now, which, I mean, they're the best tag team in the world though, but I mean, that's unselfish. But at the same time, be like, come on guys, give yourself some wins. You are the best tag team in the world. Like, show off your stuff. But I guess they want to take it slow because they're not like the other guys where it's like, design a title just for you. Love you, Cody. All right, so they went back and forth, some crazy shit, and then Butcher and the Blade came out because they got beef with those guys from last week, and then FTR entered the ring as entered outside the ring, Sans truck. So
it was just like a battle royale. You didn't know who was helping who was beating on who, but in the end, there it seemed like FTR and Young Bucks were, let's go be like in sync, synchronized wrestling, and they kind of both got the guys up in the
that was after the match. Yeah, the Young Bucks got the win legitimately. But they threw Kip Sabian into Jimmy Havoc or vice versa, and basically made him tombstone pile driver.
Oh my God, his
buddy.
own partner. That was amazing. That as soon as we saw that, it was like match of the night.
Yeah, then they did a bunch of crazy shit, and they had a crazy finish. But then after, it turned to a bit of a brawl, and FTR helped out the Young Bucks and warded off the Superbad squad and Butcher and the Blade. And yeah, they did that move that you were talking about, where they're on the top rope and they jump down and delivered a spike pile driver.
Yeah.
Although FTR only did it from the second rope, Young Bucks did it for the third rope. Okay, and Young Bucks, like, you better beat FTR, because FTR, like, they're not the greatest.
Yeah, they're not really drawing me in.
So
I don't even know who these guys are. So that's probably what really, you know.
And then after that, we have a segment with Tazz and Brian Cage, and they're under a bridge, and they don't like Moxley very much.
Yeah, you know, I'm trying to figure out who do I hate more, Brian Cage, John Moxley.
Well, when you got Tazz doing the talking for you, that means you might not be able to put together a proper sentence.
It's a triple threat of trash, the 3 T's.
How would you like to be a fly on the wall in that think tank? It would just be like them drooling, like, because they can't think, because they're all dumb. Let's just leave it at that. What's next on the docket? Oh yeah, so Big Swole, a few segments ago, kidnapped Dr. Britt Baker. She was driving that Rolls Royce that Britt Baker's rolling around in with her wheelchair, and she kidnapped her, and then we get to Britt Baker, and she's in a dumpster. Britt Baker in the trash, and me and Jay definitely do not like seeing that.
No.
And
so she is a little bit trashy sometimes.
But we love her.
I know, she's our role model.
And then so she's got her new makeup artist, Reba, who I think used to wrestle in the indies under the name Rebel.
Yeah,
so she
was almost freed tonight.
Yeah, she had a GPS tracker to track down Britt, I guess, and then Britt fired her. And then she's like, I'm free? And she's like, freedom? No. And then you come back here, you're not fired.
You're hired again.
Then she's like, where's Tony? Get Tony. Call Tony right now. It's like, you put Tony on a friendship timeout. It's like, what? No, get Tony here now.
It was just like, you know, crazy, you know, Mean Girls action. It was awesome.
Yeah, man. Like, Tony's in a great position right now. He's commentating on, like, the greatest wrestling show on cable television, and he's friends with Britt Baker. A lot of people would love to be in his spot. So, yeah, Britt Baker, she can't get out of that dumpster because her legs are broken, but I'm sure she's going to get out for next week.
Yeah.
And then we have our main event of the night, Les Sex Gods versus the Best Friends.
Yep. You had the Best Friend versus the Boys.
That's right. Sammy and Chris versus Trent and Chuck.
And so, as usual, you know, the Boys coming on in, being all fair, just having a good old time doing their thing.
Keeping everything straight up.
Yeah, coming
by
on
the rules.
By the book. Yeah, by the book. Not bothering anybody. Just, you know, being better best friends than the best friends. They get in there, everybody's all that. Bell rings. Best friends jump the Boys. You know, it was just there was no need for that aggression.
It was haste.
You know, all they wanted to do was just give Orange Cassidy some oranges, and he slipped, fell, hit his ear, and he bled a bit.
We didn't talk about what was at stake during this match, though. Best Friends, out of heat from last week, what they did to their best friend Orange Cassidy. They put their #1 contendership spot up on the line foolishly, I thought, and against the Sex Gods. And the winner of that match is to take on Adam Page and Kenny at Fyter Fest. So the #1 spot is on the line, and this was a really great match. A lot of aggression, very personal. We had a Judas sing-along from Sammy before they cut the commercial. Getting eaten alive by bugs out here. This is not a green screen. Yeah, so I mean, it was awesome. It was a really great match. And then we got what I wanted to happen. Should we just like tell like what happened at the end of this match here? Is there anything you want to say beforehand?
Well,
anything that caught your attention?
The Boys were just being the Boys, but I had my say about it. So
we had a clean win from Best Friends, which was amazing because they're favorites of mine, along with in the Inner Circle. But I like the Best Friends in this, so we do that, and they got the big win. Yeah, it was Chuck. No, it was Trent, and he hit Sammy with that move that, I don't know, he squishes on his head or something. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
We'll grab pictures of that.
And then there was this cameraman guy, and he wasn't John Moxley behind the camera. It was someone different.
It was Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, and Jericho had his back turned, and he was coming off that loss, and then Orange Cassidy sauntered over to him, and he gave him the beats pretty hard.
Very aggressive, very angry beats.
Yeah, it was personal. His head was, he had a bandage on his head as well.
Yeah.
And then he ran over at the end and did a flying, devastating Superman punch that may have broken Le Champion's jaw. More on that later.
Yeah.
And that wrapped up the show. They had their big best friends hug spot at the end. And
yeah, right after that,
pretty great.
Cut to the end, you know.
And on that note, I'm just gonna walk off. I'm gonna let Jay close off the show.
Dave and Jay's power bomb. Thanks for watching. Oh. Come on, man.